Alright, YouTube, so it seems as of today, September 1st, 2016, there has been a collective panic attack on YouTube. I remember a few months ago, well, about to be a few months ago, I made a video talking about the kind of vague terms of service YouTube revised for cyberbullying and harassment, which kind of, when I read it, I didn't say this in the video, I did mention the name, and I think this is stopping YouTubers pointing at them or hinting at them. People like Leafy is here, whose entire channel is basically roasting people, or Keemstar, or people who make a decent income off of YouTube by doing similar things. I'm not saying Keemstar and Leafy is here are exactly identical, but at the same time you have to acknowledge that their platform is somewhat similar. They both kind of thrive off of drama. Now, a lot of channels such as myself, middle of the road channels, 100 subscribers, 200 subscribers, anywhere up to like 3,000 subscribers, I think we're safe from this. We're kind of underground in the grand scheme of things, but I find it funny how now that the big dogs on YouTube, the top tier channels, or the very recognizable names that might not be top dog but are still have a hefty presence on this website, it's become a problem now, since the people who basically make a living off of YouTube have began to scream about it. Now, I think that's correct. I'm just saying that's kind of funny. I don't really care how you make your money. It's just, but I don't know why the outrage didn't come sooner than now, because months before this was even happening, you couldn't monetize off of certain videos. I've heard some people say that YouTube's trying to get them to curtail some of the language in their videos, which I'll get to in a minute. A lot of these people, I think, some of these guys who cracked over 1 million subscribers in a short amount of time, I don't think these guys were on the website that long. You see, I've been on this website since about 2007 under a couple different channels, which I shall not name. But I remember it all. I mean, YouTube pulls this every once in a while, and it's not YouTube. You see, it was great when it was just the original YouTube developers. Now, after Google bought YouTube, it started to, it was going to hell in a handbasket. You see, I remember at one point, Google Tube, I guess, they were trying to say, they were actually persecuting channels that would curse on their videos. So I remember a lot of people having to go through their videos and delete half their video library because a lot of these guys excessively use profanity. And once again, I don't care what they do, but it just goes to show. And then a lot of channels, I remember The Amazing Atheist, he had to actually bleep out curse words every once in a while. Now, a lot of people are saying, well, this is the problem with the free market. But what I'm saying is the real problem with this is that it's not actually a free market. You see, now that you have this big dog, Google, that owns YouTube, you're kind of clashing between the new age of people on the internet, probably the first true form of the internet. I'm not trying to disrespect 90s and pre-2005, but it's not TV, it's not radio. So you have all these advertisers who are afraid to sponsor these people and make partnership deals because it's outdated. They don't understand that this is kind of different. But on the flip side, it is a private website that Google owns, and they can do whatever it is at their discretion. Now, the problem with that is they can only do this so many times before the real bread makers kind of flee the website. Now, a lot of people are saying this is SJW friendly. If this website was SJW friendly, I don't think you would even see half the channels on this website. Amazing Atheist would have been gone. Atheism is Unstoppable would have been gone. Kraut and Tea would have been gone. Anybody who hinted at disliking SJW, social justice, culture, or views, they probably would have been out the door. So, it's not necessarily that it's an SJW friendly version. It's what's happening is it's these outdated advertisers that don't really understand that this isn't public television. This isn't radio waves. We're talking about YouTube. We're talking about a completely different animal. I would deem it probably a true version of this animal in its unaltered form. But what does surprise me is that these big guys didn't really speak out about it. I mean, they have in the past, to give them credit. They have in the past. But for months now, they've been, unmonetizing. Google has for certain videos with certain words in the title. If you have certain words in the title, your video becomes unmonetizable. I know people who said some of my videos on Syria, some of the guys I watch follow Syria and cover it in depth. They're not able to monetize that. If you're critical of Israel, like myself, those videos are unmonetizable. Certain other things. If I really had to point the finger, though, and I hate to do it, I'd probably blame like a channel like Leafy Is Here. He's a very controversial figure. He makes his income off of YouTube because, most of his income off of YouTube derives from the fact that he makes videos about other YouTubers and kind of sits down and make fun of them. And again, I'm not saying that's bad. I don't really care, because he was kind of showing remorse for it anyway. At least when he said he was trying to curtail the amount of videos he was making of people 18 or younger than 18 years old. I don't really have a problem with that. But, of course, this happens every few years. I think a lot of these people are either new. I noticed that a lot of the people that have been around the block for a while, they're not really freaking out as much as some of the newer channels that are kind of on the top right now. But, I'm seeing all this talk about, we need to make a new video sharing website that competes with YouTube. Now, there have been a lot of attempts by people trying to capitalize off of that classic YouTube. I remember that Zipcast video sharing site that was trying to take the layout of early 2000s YouTube, the first few years, like 2005 to 2008 or so. And I remember a few YouTubers actually tried to make websites as I don't know if it was actually trying to compete. I think they were doing it out of an act of protest. But it's what will probably happen, and I'm sure as time goes on, YouTube will die. I said that back in February. I said, Google keeps screwing up with YouTube. They've taken this perfect idea and kind of slowly demolish it every few years. they take away the customizable channel, kind of to cater to the tablet and mobile phone viewers. They give you as kind of a we're sorry present some of these options that don't really make sense, that don't really do anything. Like, I remember the discussion option on YouTube channels. No one checks that ever. I remember they've completely hid your private message feature. It still exists, but what Google did is they kind of merged it with your Gmail account, and it takes, it took me well over an hour to try to find that. So that was wasted time. But it is what it is. I don't think anytime soon, maybe 4 or 5 years down the line, you'll start to see a new website emerge, and you'll see a good migration of people. Maybe not top dogs, but people like us, because it's only a matter of time before something more extreme happens. But as history shows, YouTube will kind of back down, and people will be free to do what they want again, and then YouTube will start hinting again, and then pull something else crazy around the next turn. So, we'll just have to wait and see. That's about it, YouTube. Peace out.